Fight Fiend Forecast. I'm Joseph, the host, back for another full card prediction show. This for UFC Vegas 88, going down at the Apex. We got 13 fights, and I'm not here to waste your guys' time as always. You know, I'm not going to go through last week's recap and stuff like that. We're going to get right to business, and we're going to make some bread here. Last week, we weren't able to make any bread. We got absolutely cooked, and we got to get back at these bookies. And I'm fiending a win. I'm fiending some parlay wins. So come back on Thursday night or Friday, whenever you guys can. And I'm going to do a props and parlays show for everybody. I'm going to have some parlays and parfaits. I'll have the lock of the week and dog of the week on that show. And no more props of the week. The props of the week is just going to be a prelim prop and a main card prop that I have confidence in. So I'm not playing around this week. I'm getting my friggin' money back. And let's get right into it. We're going to start off with the prelim opener with Chad Anheliger and Charalampos Grigoriou. Not an easy name to pronounce. This guy's coming off the Dana White Contender Series, where he beat an opponent that was 8-3. Before that, he beat a guy that was 6-5. And then before that, a 2-5 opponent and 3-0 opponent. So I don't think his level of competition is great. You know, he's coming from Cyprus, and you don't see many fighters from there. So I had to look up where that's from. I don't want to take this favorite. Like, I'm taking a lot of favorites on this friggin' card, and I'm going to have to side with an underdog at some point. And you guys already know Chad Anheliger from Canada was a former underdog of the week for me. And he was probably winning the fight until he got submitted in the third round to Jose Johnson in his last fight. Now, he fights with a lot of grit. He's durable. He's never been knocked out, but he's been submitted 6 times. Now, looking at Grigoriou here, has he ever got a submission? Obviously not against high-level competition, so I don't think he's going to get it in this fight. I was originally taking this Cyprus fighter by a decision, so if you're liking him, you're liking the favorite here, maybe play it by a decision, you know what I mean? Fought some low-level competitions. This is a big step up in his debut. Probably goes the distance here. Chad Anheliger has been never knocked out. He's only been submitted. I don't see the submission happening in this fight. Honestly, this guy has 0 submission wins. 6 knockouts. And like I already said, low-level competition. I might have to go with underdog here. I might have to. Some of you guys might not like the pick, but this guy fights with a lot of grit. He's from the home country of Canada. And I'm not going to do any reverse psychology here and go against my Canadian. I got to ride with him here. Like I said, I'm going to go with a lot of favorites on this card. I'm going to have to find an underdog. First fight of the night. Hell with it. Let's go with him. He's 37. This is a motivation spot now. You look at his fights. He's lost his last 2. He's probably hungry for a win. I said that in his last fight because looking here, he won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 fights in a friggin' row. So he was pretty fired up, running through his competition. And his opponents were 4-1, 5-2, 4-0. Brady Heinstand, 10-3. Muin Gafurov beat him by split decision. I don't think Chad Anheliger is a bad pick this week. At this price as an underdog, you could probably see him as my underdog of the week. And the next fight is in the women's strawweight division now, where this isn't a huge favorite. This is a very close fight. This is going to be a tough one to cap, but I'm going to put on my thinking cap here and think this one out carefully because you got Cory McKenna coming off 2 wins to Cheyenne Vlismus, 7-2 by unanimous decision, and Miranda Granger, 7-2 as well by submission, Vlon flu choke. So on the ground, she's good. She can get the takedowns and control time. She's gritty. She's fairly durable. And even though she doesn't have the reach advantage, I don't think she's getting knocked out in this fight. She can keep it on the feet, and she can make this a dirty boxing fight if she wants to, or just take it to the ground and get the control time. Now looking at the debut fight for Jaqueline Amorim, who's only a slight underdog here. She lost a unanimous decision to Sam Hughes, where she was just searching that submission early. She gassed out. I can't trust her cardio. And her fight IQ isn't that great either. Sam Hughes is 7-5, right? You should be able to win that by a decision. And your next fight, you kind of get a layup against Montserrat Ruiz, who isn't the youngest fighter. You know what I mean? She found the ground and pound in that fight, but it was in the 3rd round. So this fight likely goes the distance. I'm going to go with the sharper, cleaner fighter, Cory McKenna. She gets it done. 3 in a row in the UFC. She's looking pretty good as well. I got to agree that she is a slight favorite. I could see actually more money come in here. Her only loss recently was to Lise Reed by split decision. So like I said, if Jaqueline's going to win this fight, it's going to be a greasy-ass split decision. And I don't see it happening. I'm actually going with Cory McKenna by a decision with high confidence. And the next fight of the night, this is going to be a scrap now in the featherweight division between Josh Culibao and Danny Silva. Danny Silva's coming off the Dana White Contender Series where he won a unanimous decision against a tough Angel Pacheco. Pacheco was 7-1. Got a contract as well, I'm pretty sure. And Danny Silva was very good on the feet. Like, probably would have found a knockout against a lot of other contenders. But Josh Culibao, this is a tough debut now. You just lost a majority decision to a 6-2 opponent a year and 2 months ago. This is Danny Silva, and that was at the LFA. Fighting Josh Culibao in your debut is not easy, my friend. This guy, he is coming off a loss to Lerone Murphy by unanimous decision, but Lerone Murphy is 12-0-1. One of my favorite fighters in the UFC. Not my favorite, he's one of my favorite ones. I think he's very good, and he's always fighting for your money, but at the same time, it was not easy to pick against Josh Culibao. Culibao beat Meerschaert Bagdasarian by submission, who was 7-1. He beat Sang-Won Choi, who's a rangy striker, very quick by split decision, so he was smart in that fight. He has great IQ, very composed and calculated. And then he beat a tough, with lots of power, Shilan Nerdenbeck, 36-9. So he's beat much higher level of competition. He gets this done by a decision. Maybe he finds a finish, but I think this is a good scrap. It's going to stay on the feet. They're going to trade. Culibao is going to be more accurate, more calculated. Likely gets it done by a decision, but he could find a finish. Like I said, he submitted Meerschaert Bagdasarian, and Danny Silva looks like a striker. I'm going to see if he has much submission wins here. He has, like, no submission wins. Yeah, 5 knockouts and 3 decision wins here. Has never had a submission win. Probably has holes on the ground. Looking at his amateur career, he had a submission loss in the 3rd round. And Culibao does have some tricks up his sleeve, so you never know. I'd play it probably money line just to be safe. And next up, I'm pretty sure this fight's going to be next on the cards, but it could be on the main card now. We got Thiago Moises and Mitch Ramirez. This is a short notice fight for both these guys. And Thiago Moises fought Benoit Saint Denis. And he also fought Islam Makhachev, Joel Alvarez. Lost all those fights by finish. But those guys are high level. You know, most of them are high level. You know, Saint Denis pretty good too, but, you know, he had an off night. And didn't look good against Poirier. No excuses there. But he's so aggressive, and he was not going to let Moises take him down, submit him, anything like that. As you can see, he took Poirier down. So Moises can probably get takedowns here. He can probably get that submission against Mitch Ramirez. Mitch, like, he lost his Dana White Contender Series fight in the 2nd round to Carlos Prates there. After that, he fought only 2 months ago to an opponent that was 5-0, no experience, knocked him out with hooks. Like, this is a tough debut in the UFC. I'm glad he's getting a chance, but I wish it was against a guy that wasn't as experienced as Thiago Moises, who hasn't only lost to very, very high-level guys. You got to trust in this pick. You got to trust that Thiago Moises can get this done by submission. His last 2 wins come by submission as well. His last 2 wins. So I'm going to take the submission prop here. Thiago Moises, very high confidence. It was going to be a lock of the week. I don't have the odds in front of me. So I'm going to think about the locks later tonight and tomorrow. I'm going to have them for Patreon early. So get in Patreon, $5 a month. I'm going to put a big bet down this week. Big business. And we're getting paid. I'm telling you that right now. You're not going to want to miss that early access to the locks, to the dog, and all my bets. I'm fiending some wins here. And some people might be listening and thinking that was too quick of a prediction. I want to take Mitch Ramirez by knockout, but I don't think he's fought the level of competition. Thiago Moises, the fact that he got knocked out to Saint Denis and Joel Alvarez, that shouldn't be a big red flag or anything like that. I think his chin's still going to hold up. Like it did against Melquizael Costa. Took him down in the 2nd round, submitted him. Christos Giagos, submitted him in the very 1st round. Alexander Hernandez beat him by unanimous decision, beat Bobby Green by unanimous decision, submitted Michael Johnson as well in the 2nd round, so I'm looking for a 2nd round prop on top of the submission for Thiago Moises. I'm very high confidence, and if it doesn't hit, great for Mitch Ramirez. Probably going to be a big underdog here, and this is a very tough debut. I just don't see him winning it. Hopefully he gets another chance that's a little bit easier after this, because the kid's going to have to fucking go through a fight. That's for sure. I'm not doubting Thiago Moises. And before we keep going with these prelims, smash that like button, suplex that subscribe button, just like Muhammad Mokaev, because we're breaking down a fight that involves a Muhammad Mokaev former opponent, Jafel Filho, against Odi Osbourne. Now, this fight gets me very motivated to bet. I'm telling you why. That fight against Muhammad Mokaev, Filho nearly submitted him with that knee bar. Very dangerous. I had him as lock of the week. The next fight, he submitted the dude in the first round. Easy work. Easy work. 157 is a steal. Such a steal. Like, lock it the fuck in. Let's go. Jafel Filho for the win. Likely finds a submission. Asu Almabayev submitted this guy. Odi Osbourne in the second round. Odi Osbourne gets taken down and on the feet. I don't think his chin's that good either, so Filho can probably knock him out. He's super quick and accurate. These Brazilians, this guy's 15-3 as well. These Brazilian prospects, they're no joke. And Odi Osbourne, 12-6. It's going to be tough to find a reason to support him. I can't support him. Asu found the submission, like I said, and he could not find the submission against CJ Vergara. Jafel Filho will find it. I'm telling you that right now. I can just sense it in my bones. This is one of my most confident picks of the week. Now, I'm looking at a submission special parlay already. Now, we could go Thiago Moises, Jafel Filho, and we can look for another one. I'll look through the card quick. Who else do I think is going to get a submission for a third leg for you? Gerard Meerschaert. So, you know what I mean? He's fighting later on this card. There's a third leg for you. If you just want to go with Thiago Moises and Jafel Filho for the submission wins, I think they're going to cash. On to the next prediction. We're talking about Josiane Nunes, who has basically no neck. Another Brazilian, though. Tough as nails. And obviously, probably going to be picking her to win here. I love my Brazilian fighters. Josiane Nunes, I'm not picking against her. Who was going to pick or call this a close fight against a girl that literally turned around and ran away from Norma Dumont? Now, I know Norma Dumont's a dump truck, but Josiane Nunes hits like a dump truck. Now, I could see a knockdown. I could see a knockout. And I'm going to see a goddamn win for Josiane Nunes in this fight, forecasters. She's going to win. She beat Zara Farron by unanimous decision. Easy win there. Couldn't find the knockout, but her last two wins come by a decision. She's probably going to be looking for one here. She throws with power, accuracy. She's going to be bombing away here, and Chelsea Chandler is not going to like it. She doesn't even have much of a reach advantage here for being this much bigger. She's 5'8", big for the division, and Josiane Nunes is 5'2", but the reach advantage is not there. You know, Chandler's 3 years older. I don't love it for her. I don't love this fight. I don't like the matchup. After seeing her turn around and basically walk away and run away from Norma Dumont in that last fight, not wanting to engage with the striking, not having success with the striking, you can't sit here and tell me this is going to be a close fight. I don't agree whatsoever. Josiane Nunes at 172. She's a goddamn lock of the week, and we're getting rehydrated and making some money. And next up, we got Mike Davis and Natan Levy. Levy's a pretty big underdog here. I don't know what the bookies think here. They kind of trust Mike Davis, obviously. So I had to do some digging in, make sure that he's going to win. Make sure they're not fooling us. Because Natan Levy, he's not bad. He's not too bad, you know. He wasn't that impressive against Gennaro Valdez, though. And Mike Davis was impressive against Vyacheslav Borshav. And Mike Davis, this dude, you know, only 2 losses in his career. Has some experience, but he's not the most active. I think he's just going to grind this out by a decision. He's so durable. Has a great fight IQ. He can make things happen here against not so proven Natan Levy, not so exciting Natan Levy. This is pretty high up on the cards. I don't know why. I don't think this is going to be very exciting. I don't even see a finish in this fight. Mike Davis coming off 2 decision wins. He also beat 10-0 Mason Jones there. That's a huge win, guys. Guys and girls. That's a massive win. Mason Jones gave him his first ever loss, so it's going to be hard to go against Mike Davis. It is. And at 3-1, I can't really find a reason to back Natan Levy. He showed me against Rafa Garcia that he can lose a unanimous decision, which I think is going to happen here again. And his win against Mike Breeden and Gennaro Valdez just aren't that impressive. You don't see many Israel fighters in the UFC. Nothing against the Israel fighters or the Cyprus fighters or people that are from there, but I don't see many of these in the UFC. And maybe he's going to prove a point here as an underdog, but I don't see it happening. He's lacking a reach advantage. He's going to be the smaller fighter in this fight. And he's 1 year older, and he's not that experienced. I'm not excited for this fight. I think it's too high up on the cards. Mike Davis by a decision. Maybe he could finish Natan Levy. Right cross. That was his last finish against a 17-8 opponent. That was 4 years ago, though. Pretty inactive. He had a submission win against a 3-1 opponent, so other than that, out of his last 5 fights, he lost to Gilbert Burns in the second round in his UFC debut. That's a hella tough debut. No doubt he lost that one and got submitted. That's an easy win for Gilbert. But Vyacheslav Borshev and Mason Jones, you just cannot go against this guy. And now we're getting into the main card where we're going to look to make some more money back. But before the main card, smash the like button again if you have not yet. And suplex the subscribe button if you're new. You haven't subscribed yet, turn on the notification button and you get notified as soon as these videos drop. You don't want to be a day or two late and be like, shit, I didn't get notified. Like, I give some good insight. And we had 50 new subscribers last week. A bunch of new people on Patreon. So come join Patreon. I was talking with Jesse Heck, one of my new Patreon members. We were talking about the Holland fight. I had a little bit too much confidence in Holland. That happens. But this week on the locks, I'm not going to make the same mistake. And I'm going to make Jesse Heck his money right back. So hell yeah, we're going to get right into it. And I had a hockey bet last night, the New York Islanders and LA Lakers, and I was 1 bet away. It was a parlay, and I was 1 leg away. Noah Dobson, Summerside PEI native, PEI Canada. I'm from PEI as well. He has 50-plus assists for the New York Islanders. Now I'm going to pull up my prediction, what I said in my Discord. I basically wrote all this out for them, and it was spot on, except for Noah Dobson feeding Horvat and Barzal with Bates. So that was a $100 bet, 10-unit bet. That was a pretty big bet for me for $1,200, but you guys can see how close it was. And there's no doubt that I can make money back pretty quick. And for $5 a month for Patreon, seeing these bets, you don't have to put $100 on it. You don't have to put the same amount of units as me. You could put $10 on it for $100. And that's still a great ROI. And people on Patreon are getting paid. For the people on Patreon that left, I've seen a lot of people that did leave. You don't have to take each and every bet, okay? If you want to shift it up a little, right? You guys have your own predictions as well. You guys have your own insight. Don't be afraid to change things up. Don't be afraid to go heavier or lighter on some bets that you feel confident in. You know, you don't have to tail each and every one. And really do your own research too on top of listening to me. I'm not going to give winning bets each and every night, but you know, I had a decision dynasty bet. I'll pull that one up. That one was like a no-brainer. 3 decision wins there. And I wish I would have went heavier, but I'm going to have a read like this again in the future. I'm going to go heavy, and we're all going to get paid. Everybody on Patreon, that is. Hit the link in the bio below. Let's get into this main card. Like I said, I'm not here to waste your time. These are my picks and predictions, right? If you disagree with the fight, let me know in the comments. I love to hear from you guys, right? I can't call each and every fight right, so if you guys can steer me away from a fight, God bless you. And some of you have. You guys have saved me money just telling me, hey, Barberena's going to win this fight coming up here. He's going to knock him out. And then I'm like, oh shit, Gerard Meerschaert, keep him off the parlays. But in this fight, I think Meerschaert, unfortunately, I don't like him, don't love him, hate his striking. I think he's going to beat Bryan Barberena, who gets submitted constantly. Now, he didn't get submitted in his last fight. He survived, went the distance. But GM3 is too equipped on the ground, man. You don't want to get taken down against this guy. And he should have won his last fight. That was a bullshit split decision. I'm going to tell you that right now. He should have won that fight, in my opinion. I think I might have bet the other side, but I thought GM3 won. So I'm not being biased here. I think he is going to win this fight. He's the rightful favorite. I want to find a reason to go with Barberena, but do I have to really dig deep into this one and tell you all the information? Because it's not pretty. He got submitted to Gunnar Nelson in the first round, right? Effortless win for Gunnar. And then before that, he got submitted to an old RDA, right? GM3, he submitted Bruno Silva, and that was in the third round, so he showed his cardio. I don't think GM3 is going to get tired here. I think he's going to find the takedowns and find the submission, unfortunately. He had another third-round submission before that. Submission to Bruno Silva against Dustin Stolfus. These third-round submissions keep happening for him. Maybe a second-round submission. He submitted Mahmoud Muradov in the second round by rear naked choke. The guy that Barberena just fought and lost to and got taken down to. So, clear grappling advantage for GM3. I'm not going underdog. I'm going favorite. And I already told you this could be the third leg for the sub-special. I'm calling the submission for Gerard Meerschaert in the second or third round. I think first round he's just going to feel him out, and then he's going to find some takedowns, and then he's going to have success in the second or third round. And next up, we're talking about a fight that I don't want to talk about. This fight already happened. Pannie Kianzad and Macy Chiasson. I really like Macy as a fighter. She fights for your money. And with a 4-6 inch reach advantage here, height advantage, like I said, we already seen this fight happen. What happened? Macy won. And that was on the Ultimate Fighter finale. And I'm going to look back. I don't even think that was competitive. I'm pretty sure Macy just had her way and dominated. And now, she could dominate this fight again, but I'm feeling the decision. Her last couple fights have been by a decision other than her last fight where she got kicked to the liver by an up kick to Irene Aldana. Beautiful place kick. Rare situation there. And she was winning the fight. Look back at the stats. She was winning the fight. Pretty rare situation there. Don't see it happening ever again to anybody, really. Like, that was such a rare occurrence. That's so unlikely, to be honest. Just being honest. But yeah, in the second round, she submitted Pannie Kianzad by rear naked choke in the Ultimate Fighter finale. Pannie Kianzad just on the feet, on the ground. She's not great. She's really not great. 16-7. And after that fight with Pannie, she went on to win a fight by knockout in the first round, and then a knockout in the second round, and then 3 decision wins. So she's been on a roll with these decision wins. Lost her last fight that she was about to win by a decision. Like, Macy's the pick, no brainer. Absolutely no brainer. Like, there's no debate in that pick. She has a reach advantage. She's already dominated this girl. She should have won her last fight. She's going to be super motivated to revenge that loss. And Ketlen Vieira just dominated Pannie Kianzad. To be honest here, probably going to be a decision. Raquel Pennington and Ketlen Vieira couldn't find a finish on Pannie. She is durable enough, probably not to get finished. She won 6 unanimous decisions after that loss to Macy the first time. You know, this is probably going to be a decision fight. I just have a weird feeling, and I'm kind of scared that this unanimous decision streak isn't going to continue. But it could, very well could. Macy Chiasson by unanimous decision would be the play here, but on the feet, she's pretty dangerous. On the ground, she's also dangerous. But women's MMA, let's take it by a decision. It's probably the safest way to go. And next up, we're breaking down a fight between C-Rod and the Midwest Choppa. This is such a good fight. First fight at featherweight for Christian Rodriguez, coming off 2 wins in bantamweight where he was a weight bully against Rosas Jr. and Cameron Simone failed to make weight. And he's going to have to put on some size here and fight a very dangerous, undefeated prospect here, Isaac Dulgarian. And Dulgarian's fighting at Factory X. I looked into him, man. He's in there with Brandon Royval and the boys. Like, Jonathan Martinez, Chris Gutierrez. Like, there's a reason why he's a favorite. Christian Rodriguez, he's a good wrestler. He's a good scrambler. Isaac Dulgarian is a very good wrestler. He's a good scrambler. On the feet, though, Isaac's going to fire away. And he's going to find a shot that just sends Christian Rodriguez right on his back, not finishing him. And then you're going to see a ground and pound, a dominant, vicious ground and pound from Isaac Dulgarian. He's going to jump on top of it. And he's not going to lose control. He's in there with some of the best. And once he drops Christian Rodriguez with a clean shot down the middle, he'll jump on top of him, finish him with ground and pound. Probably by TKO. It's probably going to be early in the first round, too. All of his wins come by finish. 4 knockouts, 2 submissions. All of them in the first round. But if it doesn't happen in the first round, it's going to happen in the second. He's not going to stop fighting for that finish. This is the type of guy that you don't want to keep your eyes off when you're fighting with him. Like, he has so many different attacks, and he's so dangerous, man. And I just feel like Christian Rodriguez was taking advantage of being a weight bully in his last 2 fights. This fight's priced close. The bookies seem to be sharp to it. Like, I didn't expect Isaac Dulgarian to be a favorite. I made my picks, and then I looked at the odds after, and I was like, holy shit, he's this big of a favorite? Like, I honestly thought the odds would be flopped, or at least a coin flip, because all that hype that Christian Rodriguez should have gained off those 2 wins. And Isaac Dulgarian, he beat Francis Marshall in the first round, who was 7-1, and then he beat a 7-2 opponent before that. But then before that, like I'm talking 1-1, 2-3, 0-0. Yeah, not the highest level of competition, right? He had to get fed some pretty easy competition. But once he took a step up in competition, you're still seeing these first round finishes, right? You're still seeing the first round finishes when he fights a tough competition, a tough guy on the ground, Francis Marshall, at featherweight too. He's fought a guy already at featherweight and dominated first round. No questions asked, debut, you know what I mean? No question, no fear, so composed. Like I said, I think it's the fact that he is training at Factory X with Brandon Royval and Chris Gutierrez, Jonathan Martinez. Like, there's so many good guys in there at the gym with him. And those boys train at elevation as well. So keep that in mind if you're thinking Isaac won't last after 5 minutes. Like, he's definitely going to last after 5 minutes. He's training with some of the best at elevation. And I'm not saying it's a lock of the week or anything like that, but he's certainly a pick. And it's certainly a high confidence pick for me, but not for some. And then next up, we got Ovin St. Preux and Kennedy Nzechukwu. And I'm looking at a 5-1 favorite for a guy that's coming off a loss here to Dustin Jacoby in the very first round. And this guy, Kennedy, he's huge, 6'5", 3-inch reach advantage. Looks like a specimen, but for the size of him, he's pretty gentle in there in the first round. You know, he's not very aggressive. Jesus. You'd like to see a little bit more from him. I'm just saying that, especially if you're going to lay this number. Should win this fight. Ovin St. Preux's 40 years old. You know what I mean? Just got finished to Felipe Lins. Felipe Lins is a dust bunny. Like, I don't like Felipe Lins. Wish he would have got knocked out in the first round of Culibao there. But it is what it is. And OSP's second last fight, he did win a year and 10 months ago to Shogun Rua. But that was a split decision, so I guess they were just deciding there who's going to stick around for a bit. Ended up getting knocked out shortly after that, but we'll see what he can do here. Probably not much, because the only win before that was Alonzo Menifield by knockout 3 years ago. Menifield's not bad, though, and it was with a counter left. If you're looking for like a counter striker in the first round to get a knockout, like maybe OSP with the experience, but after the first round at 40 years old, he's got nothing. Kennedy Nzechukwu, he's been knocked out in his last fight. Not a good look. And now would be the time, because Kennedy was just battle tested, finished in the first round. So at this price, I'm never going to touch it in this kind of situation. And Kennedy isn't my favorite guy to bet on and make money with. Like, hard to trust, man. Submitted Devin Clark, knocked out Ion Cutelaba, knocked out Carl Robertson. None of those came early in the first round. He had to find them in the second round, third round. And, like, I'd be looking for a second or third round prop maybe for Kennedy Nzechukwu. But I'm not really looking for a first round finish in this fight, honestly. I'm not going to load up on him, anything like that. Like, I'm just going to watch this one and hope he can get it done. And we'll see what we can do in the future with Kennedy Nzechukwu and Ovin St. Preux. Ovin St. Preux probably gets finished, though, and hangs him up. 40 years old. But I wouldn't mind seeing him get a finish in the first round either. Just like last week, you seen a fighter hang up their gloves after a win. Like, it's possible. We've seen it before. Robbie Lawler. Joanne Wood is the one I'm talking about most recently. Like, you never know, honestly. Like, 40 years old, he's probably motivated to get a win and get out of there. He also has some submissions on his record. A Von Flue choke to Michael Olazechuk. Straight arm lock to Tyson Pedro. And then in the third round, he head-kicked Corey Anderson. Like, Ovin St. Preux has beat some good guys. Not going to lie. But he has a split decision to Ben Rothwell. You know. Hard to bet on him. Hard to bet against him. You never know what's going to happen here. 40 years old. In the third round, it's Kennedy Nzechukwu by finish all day. And I'd be looking for props there. But for the most part, keep this one off fucking parlays. This is a kind of tricky one to cap for me. Like, Kennedy Nzechukwu is probably going to be a super easy pick. Everyone's going to throw him in parlays, but I'm just going to pass. I'm just going to enjoy this one. Put some little degenerate action down on props here. There's definitely some value there. And I don't think this fight's going the distance either, to be honest with you. And next up, co-main event spot. We got a potential lock of the week here. Bryan Battle fighting Ange Loosa. Anheliger, 3 decision losses. He's able to get takedowns and control time. He found some takedowns against Jack Della Maddalena, but he is losing by unanimous decision, and this is going to be a unanimous, clear win for Bryan Battle. Anheliger gassed out in his last fight that he did win, but he gassed out, and if he's gassing out against a guy like Bryan Battle with a great cardio, I'd be looking for a 3rd round prop potentially here for Bryan Battle. We talked about props in the last prediction, round props, stuff like that. Now this is another one where Bryan Battle in the 2nd and 3rd round is just money. That's a money-making machine right there. He has a 1st round finish, but that's just when someone pressured him. Anheliger is going to be very technical, slow, and then he's going to start to gas. He might start going in for some takedowns. Bryan Battle could find a knee, a head kick, maybe a head kick. I'm thinking that right now. Anheliger keeps his hands down, maybe goes for a takedown, gets caught with a knee, and head kicks will be set up from Bryan Battle, standing 6'1" against a 5'10" opponent with a decent reach advantage for Bryan Battle as well. Yeah, I'm leaning finish. Bryan Battle, lock of the week. Lock it in. Bryan Battle, Jafel, Filho, 2 locks that I got right now. 100% confidence in. Bryan Battle has been nothing but impressive inside the UFC, and he's going to continue to shine. They're giving him a favored matchup here as well. I'm locking in people that the UFC matchmakers have lined up to get the dub. So let's go get it, forecasters. Bryan Battle, inside the distance, 2nd or 3rd round. I'll dig up a prop for this one here. Bryan Battle's coming off a submission win. Anheliger never finished, right? So if you want to see how I'm thinking Bryan Battle can finish this fight, now I'm going to play it big business on that money line, right? Decision could happen unanimously. He could find a finish, but I'm going to lock in the locks. 100% confidence, and we're going big business. But we're going to have some little degenerate action here. Bryan Battle has 5 submission wins. But I'm going to lean the knockout. Like I said the knockout with the head kick or the knees live. His last was by a counter right hook, but he had a head kick against Takashi Sato. Now, the 2nd, 3rd round prop gets me sweaty because his last 2 knockouts come in the 1st round. So maybe we step back on the round outcome and we just do some degenerate action on knockout for Bryan Battle. I think it's a sharp bet. Could be a good play. Anheliger is very tough, is very durable. So the decision most likely is going to be the favored prop this week. It's going to be the most chalky line for this fight. And after doing research this week, I still got 4 more days to do. That could be my most confident prop. So come back on Thursday night or Friday, and I'll give you my props, the main card prop, the prelim prop, my locks, the dog of the week. So if you've been listening, you should know who the locks are. And you should know who the dog of the week is as well. I shouldn't have to tell you, but if you don't know, just join Discord, join Patreon. Links in the bio below. We're getting right into the main fight right now, main fight of the night. And it's a heavyweight slugfest. Once again, we love these fights, and it's a coin flip. And I think the bookies are going to get battered on this one because Tuivasa is going to look to knock out Marcin Tybura after losing to Alexander Volkov by submission in the 2nd round. Against a guy with such a big reach advantage, he couldn't get it going. He couldn't close the gap, but Tybura's not that much bigger than him. He's not like a Volkov 6'7", you know what I mean? He's going to be able to close the gap on Tybura. 100%. The motivation and the revenge spot is there for Tuivasa. Losing his last 3 fights, not only to Volkov, but he got knocked out to Pavlovich. Heavy hitter there. No doubt about that. I was on the Pavlovich side. And then he got knocked out to Cyril Gane. This is a fight that I'm pretty confident in Tuivasa because his last 5 fights, I've called 100%. I called this a Kai fight by knockout. The Derek Lewis fight, he won by knockout, actually. And I had Derek Lewis by KO, I believe. So, everyone but the Derek Lewis fight. I don't know how he didn't get knocked out to Derek Lewis. But he beat Derek Lewis. Holy shit. So, yeah, I forgot about that. He beat Derek Lewis by knockout with that elbow. He's super quick, man. Super quick. And he can wear a couple shots. And he's the type of fighter that he's there to entertain. He's there to entertain. And he's there to get the knockout and do a shoey. And I'm honestly surprised about the odds of this fight. A slight favorite for Tuivasa seems a little bit generous to me. I don't know if the bookies looked down as far as I did, but Tuivasa is going to bring the fight to Tybura. Tybura is not going to like that, and it's going to be inevitable for this knockout to cash in because Augusto Sakai, a guy that Tuivasa had success against, got the knockout win in the very first round to Meerschaert Tybura in 2019. And Derek Lewis in 2018 knocked out Meerschaert Tybura in the third round. And even Shamil Abdurakhimov found the finish in the second round by knockout punch. So it's going to be inevitable. Tuivasa is going to find the knockout here. And the only real good win was Sergey Spivak by a decision for Meerschaert Tybura. Coming off a knockout loss in the very first round to Tom Aspinall, Tybura's chin probably is in question. Now, it's not like Dustin Poirier, and Dustin Poirier just got knocked out to Gaethje, and he's been durable his whole career. Like, that was probably a mistake going St. Denis by KO for the most part because he was having success on the ground. But in this fight here, like, Romanov and Ivanov were not the guys to be finding the knockout shot against Tybura. But when he fought guys like Sakai, Shamil, Lewis, they all had success. And the UFC has a matchmaking job to do, and I think they're lining up Tuivasa to win. He's going to be 8 years younger in this fight. He has a big fan base, and even the Nelk boys are a big fan of this guy. So it's going to be shoey bets for days here. And if you disagree with any of my picks, just make sure you comment below and let me know. I'm going to pick one person this week to do a shoey bet with. Maybe you're in my Discord, so if you're in Discord, just tag me, and we'll talk about a fight that we disagree on. But I'm only going to choose one person that I disagree with to do a shoey bet with, and it's probably going to be someone that's active. Someone that's been showing me support the last couple weeks, enjoying the videos. So you got to make sure you stay active in the comments below so then I remember who you are each and every week. And also, comment your forecast of the week while you're there. Put hashtag forecast of the week and comment your most confident prop at plus money. Last week, all the forecasters made money and got baked with my boy Omnom, and he had Sean O'Malley by a decision. Sean O'Malley was the only lock for me that hit. It was a high confidence play for me to ride with Omnom, go get baked, make some money. And we made some money. Sean O'Malley dominated. Perfect prediction. Goddamn right, Omnom. That's my boy. That's my boy. And if you want to become forecast of the week like Onam was last week, comment your most confident prop at plus money. Put hashtag forecast of the week. And I'm going to choose one. I'm going to make content. I'm going to put money on it. I'm going to give you a shout out on the final show on Instagram. I'll do a short video as well. And we're going to get this money. And maybe we'll get baked too. You never know, right? I love getting baked. Love having hoots. I like having a couple drinks as well. But we got to be wise with it, right? Business first. Business comes first. And then we can have some partying after. But first, we got to make sure we win. Winning comes first, right? We're not going to be a bunch of losers out here being degenerates, drinking, and being bogus with these picks. We're going to get down to business, and we're going to make this money. Let's go, forecasters. It's a big week for us. Had 5 picks wrong last week after having only 3 picks wrong on the last 2 events before that. You know we're going to stay consistent. Don't be a Susie and skip through everything. You want to hear each and every fight prediction, and you're going to want to know which fights to stay away from. Right? Stay away from the chalk. There's some fights that are chalky that are like, yeah, you fucking bet that every day of the week. Right? Anybody going against Dej by round 1 KO, if nobody forecasted that, like if someone's predicting something other than Dej round 1 KO, I don't know what they're thinking. I think they need some... Because there's no doubt that a bronze medalist that went to the Olympics isn't going to have the cardio and isn't going to know how to manage his range finding a knockout shot in his debut. There's a reason why the UFC makes fights. They have matchmakers for a reason. There's just some fights you can't predict wrong, right? Some fights are okay because they're close, they're hard to cap, but there's some fights that are like, you cannot pick that wrong. Like, you cannot go the other side on that one. Some people did. I've seen that some people did, and respect to them. I respect the people that did, but now it's like, come on, man. Like, Jesus. You guys know what I'm saying? Like, when you're listening to people and they're giving predictions, you want to hear an honest breakdown, and you want to lay the chalk when you know it's going to hit for sure. That's what you guys are here for. You guys want to know plays that are going to hit 100% confidence. And some chalky plays aren't worth playing. Just a couple weeks ago, I told you to stay away from Javid Basharat at that price, 5-1. Probably not worth putting it in parlays. Kennedy Nzechiku, I'm just not thinking it's worth putting it in parlays. Right? Last week, almost a 4-1 favorite. Dej round 1 KO. Looking at the price of that, was insane. I've never seen odds that low for someone to get a knockout in the first round, so that was the first indication that it's definitely going to hit. You got to lay the chalk. So if you're going to lay the chalk, you got to put it in parlays, and you got to go heavy. Big business. We're here to get paid, forecasters. I'm going to be back on Thursday. I'm going to give you the props, locks, dog of the week. But if you listen to the full card predictions and you weren't a Susie and skipped through everything, you're going to hear the locks, you're going to hear the dog of the week, and you're going to hear some good bets as well. So thanks everybody for tuning in once again. We got a bunch of new forecasters in Discord, on Patreon, and subscribe to the channel. So once I hit 1,000 subscribers, I'm giving away $100 to a couple forecasters. It could be more than 3. I could give out 100 to 5. You know what I mean? I got a giveaway bot set up in my Discord. The Fight Fiend forecast is on the rise. We're going to get hot again here. You know what I mean? Last week, we're going to learn from our losses. Those are just lessons that are going to turn into blessings for us. It's us against the bookies forecasters. Thanks everybody for tuning in. And before you go, smash the like button and suplex the subscribe button just like Muhammad Mokhaya.
You hear that? That's inevitability. You can't stop this shit.